Hello, Steve White, Trek-Way 89 for Steve White's 89. Well, I watched Star Trek Discovery Season 4, Episode 6, Stormy Weather. It was interesting. It's another standalone episode on the way to discovering what the DMA is. It starts off with Michael talking about family and past and still being connected, and she's building one of those trees, one of those hologram family trees. She's talking to Book. He's still having trouble dealing with the grief of losing his world. It's his father's birthday and so forth. Now, the overall story is that they're going to try and explore the DMA to try and learn more about it. They actually move into it. There's like an opening, they move into it, but as soon as they go in, basically everything disappears and it's all black. There's no signals, nothing, just blackness, no audio, no visual, nothing. They do find that there is something inside, and they find a barrier. They send in a dot. The dot basically is torn apart, and it screams on its way out. They send in a flare, and it takes about the same amount of time, but a bit less, so they reason that whatever this is actually moving forward, this edge to something. So they take the ship in a bit closer, but eventually they realise they're not learning anything. They try and leave, and they find out they can't leave. They have no point of reference. There's no way to navigate because they're basically in nothingness. So they can't reverse course. It's kind of like another episode of Star Trek where something similar happens, but I'm not going to go into that. So Zora is afraid. She's actually talking to Gray. Gray is trying to help her to focus because she's being overwhelmed by her systems, by her consciousness, by being a living machine. And as Gray's adapting to her body, they help the computer adapt to its new reality, I guess. They get her to play a game of, I think, something like not chess, but some sort of game to help get her focus. They have holes opening up in the ship, in the outer body of the ship. I'm forgetting the name. A guy gets pulled out into space. He's trying to shut down some systems, and he tries to get out, but a force field is shut in his way, and then the hole in the outer planing opens up behind him and sucks him out, blows him out, however you want to put it. Zora feels guilt. She's paralysed by it. Michael talks her through understanding her feelings and how to work through them. They work out a way to find the opening where they entered. They literally use sonar and pings, which we need to look into the science of that. I'm not sure how that works. There's been a lot of comments in the past from the Phantom Menace, people saying how an earlier episode used sonar in space and sonar can't work in space. The fact they've used it again might suggest there is a way to use it and read it. It's still, even if you can't hear it, I guess it would still resonate on some level, and that's what they were detecting. So maybe you don't need sound to do that, I'm not sure. Air, oxygen to do that. It doesn't need to be sound for it to actually resonate, to be registered. So they find this, but unfortunately they can't leave because the plasma barrier that they have to get through is so severe and so hot. Basically, it's going to burn off the shields, and it's going to be too hot for anyone to survive, even in like a gravity, even in an EV suit. So they have the idea to put everyone have them all beam into the pattern buffer and stay there. And Michael was going to man the ship alone as the captain, which is one of the few times she's done something by herself, which actually kind of makes sense that she's the captain. She's staying with the computer, with the ship, and with the computer to talk the computer through it. It's not just that she's trying to be a hero. She actually has to be there for the ship to help it manage its feelings and actually get through what it has to do. So she does all that. It's interesting. The ship starts to burn. You actually see fire on the bridge, and you see the front of the ship outside the view screen on fire. Michael's EV suit is not enough. She eventually passes out, and she basically wakes up in the medical I forget what's called, the sick bay, and she's fine and everyone's fine. Now there are other things that happen during that. Book starts to hallucinate his father, and he works through some of his grief with that, and his father's he's manifesting a lot of issues through his father, his insecurity about trusting Michael, that Michael's going to pick Starfleet over him, the idea that he didn't really respect his people and so forth, and it's kind of interesting to watch him work through that. It is a hallucination. People are aware that he's hallucinating. But the interesting thing, though, is because during all of this, they tried to go to, when they're trying to escape, they tried to jump out, and the mycelial network, there were issues with it, and there was a big shock that went through Book, who was the one running it, while Stamets was trying to get data on the DMA. And basically they find the particles from the DMA, the shock, the electricity in Book's brain. They're able to analyse it and work out that it comes from outside of the galaxy. So whatever is causing this and using this and has created this DMA, it's coming from outside of the galaxy, so they have no idea how to even find it, let alone work out what it is. So it just makes the mystery more bigger, because, how do they work with that? I think that's basically it. Grey furthers her evolution, of assimilating with her body. Zora is developing feelings and managing them, and having a sentient computer as the ship, and the ship being kind of like a living being now, is kind of interesting. But a lot of the issues I have with Discovery are the bigger issues. The individual issues with the episodes are not so bad, and a lot of the people a lot of the stuff that the fandom menace people and the haters are going on about are things that don't bother me, like the focus on emotions, the focus on emotions. It's all about emotions and feeling, and trauma and grief, and they're not really what Star Trek really focuses on, which is exploration, humanity, and learning about humanity, not just dealing with grief and repairing. The show seems to be all about dealing with grief and repairing things. And as an overall theme, an overall thing with the show, it doesn't really work for Star Trek. It's not really Star Trek. But individually, episode to episode, that doesn't bother me. I find it interesting. But so the bigger issues I still have with Discovery, but the individual episodes are kind of watchable now. So I've been watching them. And but I won't be watching them for much longer. After episode 7 airs on December 30, they're going to take a break, and Discovery won't be back for more than 2 months on February 10, which is a shock. I just heard about that today. No one knew about that. Everyone thought that the show was going to continue on uninterrupted. Now, whether this has anything to do with wanting the rest of the season to actually air on Paramount Plus, not on the free-to-air streaming that's on now, whether it's because they literally haven't finished them because of COVID and just being behind in schedule, or I don't know, do they want to bring back, are they going to show the rest of Prodigy in this time? Is there going to be nothing on? I have no idea. But also, Amazon is everything, all the Star Trek shows that are on Amazon are going to be leaving next month. So you've got a few more weeks to watch them on Amazon, then they're gone. And sorry about my voice, I don't know, I guess I'm losing it. But that's the video for this week. The episode wasn't that complicated. There was a lot of emotional issues, but they don't take that long to explain. What actually happened on the ship wasn't that complicated. There was one moment where the comm officer, I've forgotten her name, she did kind of challenge Suru, and he actually stood up and said, no, basically go back to do what you're doing. And she did apologise to him and explain that she was feeling hopeless. Something she experienced when people in her, where she grew up with, died, and she was powerless to do anything. She was trying to do something, I guess. He said, I understand. Thank you for sharing. There's a lot of emotions, a lot of sharing. Everyone sort of has to explain everything they're doing. There's an emotional reason for everything and awareness, which doesn't bother me, but it does seem to be difficult with command, where like everyone has to take time to reflect on everything they're doing and explain everything and apologise for everything, and it's not very efficient. It may be kind of realistic for humanity and humans in the long term, but on the actual job, you know, when you're on duty, it is a bit much. But can't think of anything else that happened in the episode. Zora picked her own name. It means new day. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Sorry for my voice. I did kind of watch this episode. There was some unknown. There was some mystery. There was danger. Michael was sort of the hero, but it sort of made more sense in that she was being the captain. We've seen other captains stay on the bridge when everyone else left. It's not. It's sort of more in the role of the captain, which she was often, you know, out of line in the past, where she wasn't the captain. She was always trying to be you know, the hero, the main hero. So it makes more sense now that they've, you know, put those together. I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.